Hey y'all, it's me, Cody. Hope you are all doing well. This is Cody Knits Podcast, episode number 29. How's it going? This is Diamond, if you don't know. This is a podcast about knitting, crocheting, spinning, whatever else I decide to talk about on here. What is it? It's being a wiggle worm. Yes, you are. Um, so yeah, I'm Cody, if you don't know, and I'm coming to you from Atlanta, Georgia. Um, Diamond is wanting lots of loving right now. He's weird. So anyway, you can find me on YouTube as Cody Knits and on Ravelry as Cody Knits, and there is a Cody Knits podcast Ravelry group. Not very active right now. Not a whole lot really going on with everything that's kind of been going on or not going on with me in my life. But I'll get to that later. Good news. Um, so you can find me there, and you can also find me on Instagram as nurse underscore Cody, Codi. Um, so yeah, I want to thank you all very, very much from the bottom of my heart for being so supportive and caring and kind and just so awesome. Most of you who watch probably know that I've been going through a rough time this year, really. A lot's been kind of going on, and yeah, so I wanted to let you know how much I appreciate you all for your support and your kind words and your messages of encouragement and all of that. And it really means a lot, and it really puts a bright spot in days that have not been so bright. And I just really appreciate that. So, and I appreciate that you come back and want to sit down and spend a little bit of time with me, and Diamond and Billy Bob sometimes. And yeah, it just really means a lot. And I just wanted to say thank you so much for just being so awesome. So yeah, let's talk about some knitting, shall we? No, no, no. I think that's mean. Let me tell you what's the good news. I told you there's good news, and so you probably most of you probably know that I graduated with my master's degree and became a nurse practitioner this past December, and I have been looking for a job, and it's been difficult. um, I was really, really wanting to stay in oncology, cancer. That's what I did as a bedside nurse, as an RN, and that's what I love, and that's where my heart is. And I applied to many positions, and I was turned down by quite a few. Some were jobs that I didn't really want in the first place, and some of them were jobs that I did want, but apparently that's not where I was meant to be. And it was not fun going through that process, but it has led me to where I am. And I am back at the hospital or the healthcare organization that I worked at as an RN. Um, I resigned my RN position there my last semester of school. Um, Sorry about that. Let me put this on the side. to finish up school. I was getting really overwhelmed with the amount of clinical hours and work and um, my capstone project and all of that stuff. So I had to resign, but I left on good standing, which was good. So I applied to a nurse practitioner position, and the positions that I applied for were they really needed people with experience. One was to be running an office, kind of like a satellite campus, just on the outskirts of Atlanta. And I would be the only provider there sometimes, and I don't have enough experience as a nurse practitioner, which actually is none really in oncology, to be able to do that successfully just yet. So there are going to be, or there is it is or are? Anyway, grammar. Um, in the near future, there will be nurse practitioner positions opening up at this organization. Um, there's a lot of growth, and they're doing a lot of change, changing things around and things like that. The problem is they don't know exactly when those positions are going to be available. It could be in a month, and it could be 6 months. And when you're not making any money, it's hard to wait. So I emailed the lady that I interviewed with, and I basically said, "Hey, I understand. I really want to come back and work here. This is where I started work straight out of school. It was my first like big boy job, professional job, and I hope one day I'll end up, even retiring from there. Who knows? But I said, I still have bills to pay and things like that, and my savings is gone. And um, is there anything that I can do, part time or something like that, or PRN, that I can do until a position opens up?" Well, she sent me an email to tell me who to get in contact with, and I did. And I told them the situation, and I had my interview. I sent them my resume like that, and then they decided to interview me. And I had my interview yesterday. And when I left, I, I, it's a position as an RN actually, in an infusion center where we give chemo and blood products and things like that, and also the clinic where the patients come to see their doctor, their oncologist. And so I would be going back and forth between the two, um, with whoever needed me the most or whatnot. And um, I have I'm really confident in my skills with starting IVs, drawing blood, um, accessing ports and central lines and things like that because I did that as a nurse, um, on the floor, previously. And so I was, pretty well qualified for this job. But one of the ladies had a little bit of hesitancy, because, she's like, well, what if, an NP job opens up and in a month? And I was like, well, I understand that, but what if it's 6 months or 9 months before it opens, And um, so I just really laid it all out there on the line and told them um, that I'm pretty desperate and whatnot, and whatever they needed me to do, I would do. And so, um, yesterday afternoon, that was at 8 o'clock in the morning, and the interview went really well. They showed me around, and we, um, hit it off pretty well. And I know a lot of the people who work there already, so I saw some people I knew, colleagues and things. And um, so later that afternoon, they said they would let me know either that day or in the next uh, couple of days because they were wanting to make a decision soon. Which that was what the big thing for me is I need to know something because I have to come up with another plan. And so they called me this morning and said that they wanted to move forward with me, and they just needed to send out. They do your references. What they do is you have to tell them who they are and give them their information for your references, and they send them like a survey, and they complete those, and then they send them back, and then that's how they do references. So they needed those, and then once those get turned in, I can get started with the others. There's always the logistical technicalities you have to go through. So I am not technically official, but I will be working very soon, and I'm super excited about it. I can't wait to be back with my patients. When I was there yesterday, you know, they were showing me around, and I just missed it. I really do. And those people are so special to me, and I don't even know them. Half of them, I mean, most of the people, actually, every patient there that I saw yesterday, I didn't even know. I'd never taken care of them before, but I felt like they were special to me anyway. So anyway, I just know that's where I'm supposed to be, is working in oncology, and I'm back um, doing that, and I can't wait to learn more and advance my role there, and all of that. So I wouldn't have made it this far without you guys being so supportive and encouraging, because it was really, I was getting so depressed, and I was trying not to come across like that too much in my podcast, but I'm pretty sure it did. But it's just a lot of stress, not knowing like how you're going to pay your bills or whatever, and just you know, a lot of people, a lot of rejection because they want people who, not that they didn't like you, but they really need someone who already has experience. Which, it's understandable, but how does one get experience if no one gives them the opportunity? So it's kind of like a, you know, catch 22 kind of thing. But yeah, it's all working out. It'll take me a little bit to, really get back on my feet, but at least now I don't have to worry about it. I know that, I'm going to be working and getting a paycheck that's steady. I'm sorry I have been away I haven't been very active on any social media really, because I've been doing little odd jobs, whatever I can do. And actually, I just started, driving for Uber. Atlanta is pretty, uh, big I guess, with Uber, as far as people who use it, and I use it all the time when I, you know, was able, to go out with friends and things like that. If I was going to have a drink or two, I always took Uber. Or if you're going like downtown Atlanta and you don't want to drive in the traffic or pay for parking and all that, take Uber, and it's so much cheaper. And they drop you off right at the door. And um, Uber is, if you don't know, it's like you request a driver, and it's like on an app on your phone, and um, you just type in where you're at. Well, it usually picks up where you're at, and then where you want to go, and then you send a request, and then whenever you and whoever it finds the driver closest to you that's online. And so as a driver, I go into a separate app and I say that I'm online and willing to pick up people. And then you just accept it. It sends you. And the great thing about it is you don't exchange any cash. There's no cash exchange. Um, there really aren't even. We really don't encourage people even to tip. If they offer, we say that they don't have to. It's not necessary. Some people will. I always do at least a couple of dollars, if you know. Um, but yeah, I've been having a lot of fun with it. I'm meeting some really neat people. Um, yeah, it's really cool, and it's really does make pretty good money. I guess I had eight. Um, I had eight riders in 4 hours, and I made $75. And that's after Uber takes out their fees or whatever. So made $75, and they pay you once a week. Um, so and you just pick. I mean, you just do it when you want to. Like if you don't want to, you don't have to. If you want to, you just do it, and you get paid, and really flexible. So even though I have this job, it's part time, so it's 30 hours a week. They probably won't let me work any more over that because um, they don't want to pay me overtime. So they'll probably only let me work 30 hours a week, and I can drive for Uber, whenever I feel like it, and make a little extra. So works out. Anyway, I've rambled on for nearly 20 minutes about all that, but I just want to tell you thank you, give you an update, let you know that I'm super excited and things are better, and I'm still not at a place where I can go out and spend money on yarn and things like that just yet. Uh, I don't have any, it might be still might be a couple more months before I can do that. Unless my birthday is in April, so if I get some gift cards or something like that, um, for my birthday, it's at the end of April, but, then I'll probably, uh, allow myself to spend those gift cards on yarn or yarny, uh, related things. So anyway, I had kind of lost a lot of my knitting mojo. Not because I don't have great yarn to knit with in my stash, but part of me was thinking I might have to sell it, and I didn't want to use some of it, and the other part of me was I was just too, I guess, really depressed to knit, and knitting usually makes me happy and things like that. But but it just wasn't. I would sit down and it just didn't work. I couldn't read. I like to read, and it was like nothing. And I actually watched TV, and I don't do that very often, but I mean, if I watch TV, it's like usually a movie or something. And yeah, I mean, I turn the TV on and watch like Food Network and some shows I'd never even, I mean, and just, yeah, that was bad. But anyway, um, let's get to the knitting because I do have some things to show you. And I have shown some of these on Instagram. I try to stay a little bit active on there, but I do have some discharged projects. Yay! Actually, it's two, and they're very tiny. They're earbud pouches, and these are made using, just your mini sock yarn minis. I'm sure you can use the pattern and use bigger yarn and bigger needles and make these a little bit bigger too. Let me tell you. So this pattern has coffee spill all over it, and that was one of I was having a really bad day, and that didn't help it. But hey, I didn't want to throw the pattern away. But it is a free pattern, and it's by Mary Keenan. There you go. And it's super easy. This pattern is written to be done on DPNs, but I really prefer to do it magically. It's much quicker for me. I don't mind doing DPNs for certain things like hats and things, maybe socks, but I really didn't like doing socks on DPNs. I really like magic loop, and so I did these using magic loop. And this is actually from the same mini skein. You can kind of tell, huh? But I just made two out of the same, and they look pretty different. Can't tell. But yeah. And so what you can do is, of course, I don't have any earbud pockets. You saw in the picture here, and they fit. They fit all the way in there. You just roll them up and tuck them in there, and then you can put them in your bag, and they're not getting tangly with anything. You know where they're at. So, yay! That's actually, I think that's the only thing I finished. I did block and weave in the ends on my hitchhiker, and I really like it. Blocked really nicely. I didn't really block it all that hard because I just wear it like a scarf, and I thought it was pretty. Excuse me. I thought it was beautiful the way it was. So let's go on to my workup. What am I working on? This is the AKA whips section. And I have a couple of old whips still, and then I have a couple of new cast-ons. So my Hermione's Everyday Socks. I'm sorry, I forgot who the name of the person who designed them. Oh. No. I'm still on the foot. The feet. I'm doing them two at a time, magic loop. I wish my loop was a little bit longer, but that's okay. It's in a bag that Erin from Give Me On 418 Southpaw Creations is her Etsy shop. She has some new stuff in there. Go check it out. And her Etsy shop is really reasonably priced. So, and it's good quality stuff too. So I would recommend checking her out. This is West Yorkshire Spinners Signature Floor Ply, the Bullfinch colorway. I'm sure you're all familiar. The needles are, it just literally flew out of my mind. You're all screaming at me, telling me, oh my God. Chowgoo! Red lace. I love these needles. I love the cable because it doesn't get all like twisty, like crappy. It pretty much stays, the way it's supposed to. But I'm doing these two at a time. They're not matching. I didn't match them. But I did do them. I am doing them two at a time, and this is the first pair. And I'm pretty sure I'm glad that I'm doing them two at a time, because I'm going to be glad when they're done that they're both done. But yeah, so those are those. I think since you've seen it, I probably only did one more pattern repeat. I know, shame on me. And the other thing, somewhere around here, is in my bag from Kay from the Bakery Bear. I got lucky and got one of her Christmas bags in a shop update one time. But this is my Entrelac cowl by Carol Wells. Probably all very familiar with this by now because it is taking forever. This is how big it is so far. And I'm on the second ball. I used it all. And this is 100% cashmere from Pepperberry Knits, and the colorway is Storm. And I believe, yeah, it's a yarn box exclusive, so I got this in a yarn box. It was actually, because I didn't get the most expensive one, which gives you the luxury yarns. I just got the middle one. I don't get any of them anymore. I canceled that. Not because I didn't enjoy it, but because I wasn't working. Uh-oh, forgot to put the pattern in. But anyway, it's coming along, and I've been trying to make myself knit on it a little bit more. It just, like, I don't not enjoy working on it. It's just like, it just takes me a long time to get from row to row, and on the ends, I always have to read the pattern, because I cannot, to make the ends straight, you have to do the ends a certain way, and each end, right side end or the wrong side end, or the left or right side, however you want to look at it, is different, and I can't remember for the life of me. Once I get past that, it's easy. I mean, they're all, if you're on the purl side, you pick up some purl and whatever, and then, so after that, it's easy, but it takes a long time to get across a row, because you're knitting these 8-row long little rectangles, and you do that like 10 or 12 times all the way across, and it just takes a long time, I guess. I don't know. The other thing I cast on is this pattern. I've been wanting to knit this for a while. It is the Late Frost Cowl by this person, Melissa Shoshberry, I believe. And it's very beautiful. But you can see it's a cable pattern. It's like a cowly, whatchamacallit. And it's the pattern isn't written out, it's a chart, and I can't remember if this is free or paid, so I'm not going to show you. But if you don't like charts, then this is actually one. Well, if you don't like charts, period, then you don't want to do this one because it's not written out. If you don't like charts because they're so big or because they might be confusing, this is a very easy chart to read. And it's not huge. It's, you know, decent size. It doesn't even take up the whole page. But, I mean, it's easy. Is what I'm trying to say, I guess. Is like, it's easy to follow, easy to read. It's not confusing. You're not having to keep looking back at the little legend or ledger. Is it legend or ledger? Legend. The key that shows you what the things mean, because once you do it once, you remember it. And there's only a few stitches that you're having to really pay attention to. So it's really a good one. What I wanted to do was cast it on. Well, I wanted to make it in this yarn. It is Black Wolf Ranch Alpaca. Oh, this stuff is so soft. I love it. And the colorway is champagne. It's all natural color. It says 2-ply, 200 yards, 100% alpaca, and it says knit as worsted. Now, I have 2 balls of it, and here's the ball, and I really hope, like, it's just it's 2-ply, but it's very loosely plied, and when it's wound in this ball, it's not as fluffy, but it's very kind of loosely twisted together, loosely plied. And this is knit on a size 10 needle. And I just, I was there's a ribbing, and I just didn't think that it was looking right, how I wanted it. And with this is a big cable pattern. It's all cables. And I just wasn't sure with this being such a loosely plied yarn that it would look good, that the cables would look good. Does that make sense? So, and I really didn't like it at that gauge. I would definitely need to go down a needle size, maybe even 2. But I didn't want to do that because it's supposed to go here, over your shoulders like this. And I'm afraid if I go down, then it won't do that. The fabric that you get would probably look nice, but it wouldn't wear correctly. So I really wanted to make this, and I really didn't want to do it in this color, but it actually, I think, is turning out nice. What I'm doing it in is Barocco. What did I do with the little thingy mahooger? Well, I lost it. But it's Barocco, and I think it's called Snow Day or Snow something, but it's just white. So here's what it looks like. It needs to be. I mean, it has like your little cable section, and then it has like a little eyelet. Uh-oh, hold on. A little eyelet section kind of thing, and then it kind of swaps, or whatever. So I'm using stitch markers to mark the repeat. It's like a 20 stitch repeat, and this, because it is cables and there is some yarn overs and things like that, and I know that if I finish a section and there's not 20 stitches in between, then I messed up and I can go back. And these are some really nice stitch markers that one of you lovely viewers sent to me. They're really pretty. They're like glass, I think. But I really like these, how they're like rope, like wire, because I find that sometimes stitch markers can make my uh, stitches look a little wonky, the one after it. But yeah, so there's that. I'm excited. I really like this. This yarn is really nice to work with. And it was pretty, if I can remember correctly, it's pretty economical. Um, I don't like to say cheap, but it's not super expensive. And this would be a great yarn to make hats with. Like it feels like it's going to be it's good and warm. It's soft, but it feels like it's going to be a good, you know, tough yarn that can deal with being thrown around and whatever. Um, so yeah, that's what I'm working on. I really like it. And I passed on something else because I wanted to crochet. Just got in that let's crochet. So I pulled out my crochet one one Skein Wonders 101 project, and this is I gotta cover up something so I don't get someone yelling at me. Okay, it's called the 3 Round Scarf by Kaissa McClinton. Sorry. And let me show you a picture of it, but I gotta cover, because obviously it's not free. But there's that. It's called 3 rounds because basically that's what you do. You're going around um, 3 times. And it's basically a shell pattern. But I learned a new technique doing this, or a new stitch or something. It's called a double chain. Have you ever heard of it? I've never done it before. Now I've heard of like doing where you can cast on, like if your first row of something is supposed to be like double crochet. That there, I know there's a way. I've never done it, but I know there's a way that as you cast on, you're doing a double crochet so that you're not. So that eliminates the chain 100 and something, and then going back and double crochet in every one of those chains. It's like the chain and the double crochet all in one. I know that there. I've heard of that, but this is a it doesn't give you anything like that. It's called a double chain. And what it is you make a chain just like normal. And if you flip that over, if you're familiar, similar to knitting, it's you have your V's and there's a leg back here, like a bar. And instead of your V going like this, I hope I'm not making some sign that is not appropriate. But in knitting, you have your V. Well, in crochet, you have your on the top edge, or like around the edge, you have V's that are kind of like this. And that's like they'll tell you to pick up both loops. Those are the 2 loops they want you to pick up. And then there you have a front loop and a back loop, blah, 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 blah. Well, there's a bar back here. So with a double chain, you chain like normal, and then you take your needle and you go into the bar on the back and pull up a loop and then pull through 2. Um, and you do that. And I'm not well, let me show you the project. Now, this project should be a finished object. What did I do with it? However, it's not. Let me show you the middle section first so that you can kind of see what I'm talking about. So, you really can't tell here but down through the middle here is where that chain, double chain thing is. And then you're working, it's called 3 rounds because you work one side of the chain, and then you turn and you work the other side of the chain. So it's like you're not just knitting back and forth, you're working around the chain. But anyway, this is it. However, I was playing Yarn Chicken. It's supposed to be one skein wonder, right? I have this much yarn left, and I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have about 8 more shell, picot shells to do. And I ran out. Oh, I was so not happy. Um, this was really fast to do. It probably took me 3, 4 hours. Just simple. The yarn, I believe, is Vanna's Choice. I know it's Vanna's Choice. I just don't know what color it is. Colorway. It's some yarn I had in my stash. And I was like, oh, I have one color. This will be a really pretty scarf for someone. And the yarn is really soft, but I ran out. So, if any of you have Vanna's Choice yarn, a little bit left over, I don't even know, enough to go from here to here, and you would be happy to part with it, please let me know. Because I would love to finish this. But it's not going to get finished until I can buy yarn again. And I know it's cheap, but I'm not even going to put myself through that temptation of going to the yarn store, Hobby Lobby, or anything and whatever. But any of you have a little, plus I guess I could make some a hat with the rest of it. I don't know. If anybody has extra and that they would like to get rid of, please let me know. I'd be happy to use it to finish this scarf. But yeah, it's pretty long. It's a pretty long scarf. Not my style, but I'm sure some lovely lady would be able to put it some good use. It needs to be washed. This yarn softens up a whole lot once it's washed. Right now it doesn't feel that great on your neck. It's not itchy like wool. It's just kind of rough. Let me check. Okay. Now, I got some mail, and I want to show you. Rachel from Night Owl Fibers and her mommy sent me a lovely package in the mail. It was a surprise, and it made me cry. Um, but it's this cute, adorable bag. Rachel is the dyer from Night Owl Fibers. You should definitely go check out her shop and buy her yarn. I'm pretty sure most of you probably already have some of it, but go get more. But they saw the little weenie dog dachshund fabric, and they said that it reminded them of me, and they sent it, and it couldn't have come at a more perfect time. Little drawstring, very cute, perfect sock size bag. And she also sent me some washi tape. I love washi tape. I use it a lot in my journal, my knitting journal, and I also use it a lot when I send people packages. Which I haven't done. I know one of you is expecting a package from me, and I should be able to send that very soon. And I apologize that um, Pons, the kitty cat, hasn't made his way to you, but he will very soon. But she also sent me this little notepad, sticky notes. I use these all the time too. Never have too much of that. So thank you so much for doing this. It means so much to me, and that you were thinking about me, and yeah, it just means a lot, especially when someone's going through a time like a rough time, and it just means a lot when someone lets you know that they're thinking of you, and I appreciate that. Now, I have one more piece of mail, and I'm not going to say who sent it because I didn't ask for permission, but they know who they are, and it kind of goes along with my long term, my admitted project. So my admitted project are those who are going to be staying overnight or over a while. So let me grab something and I'll be right back. You're going to get to watch me walk. You see this? So my mom gave me this big basket for, I told her it was my Easter basket that was filled with nothing. But look at all the balls of yarn. I mean, there's so much in here. Beautiful. I can't even show you. I mean, it takes me forever. And someone contacted me. Hey, someone contacted me because last episode I made a comment about that I hadn't been working on my ugly scrappy blanket because I didn't have any scrappies to use. Well, now I have plenty of scrappies and much more. So a lot of these, um, I'm going to actually be able to make some other things with, like hats. And actually thinking, because I'm making, well, I'll show you a couple. A couple I've already put in my blanket, but these are pretty small, little scrappies, so they don't take up much. That's pretty. It reminds me of Easter. So it doesn't take much, and so I think I'm gonna make like a granny square blanket. Um, I don't know if I want to just do a square that just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger, or I might just do like 12 inch, 12 by 12 squares and sew them together. Which is probably what I'll do using those, and then I'll make some hats too. So those are some, and then I've sewn in a couple more into my blanket too. So I think that one, the green, the orange, these two are all new. So this is what it's looking like so far. I border it in the white. So yeah, I'm having a lot of fun doing this. And thank you so much for sending me your scraps. And it means a lot to me too that you were thinking about me and that you were willing to part with some of your yarn and let me put it to use. Oh, somebody's blowing up my phone. The only other thing I have to show you is my my mitered square memory blanket. I have done a few more. These three, I believe. So it's coming along. I'm still enjoying working on this as well. So anywho, I don't have um a prescription for you this week. Unless I can think of one off the top of my head. Last week was about allergies and go ahead and start taking your meds. I would still, you know, recommend that because it is that time of year. Um, hmm, my prescription for you is to do something that makes you happy and do something for that makes you happy and it's for you. And we we do a lot for other people. We make things for other people. We If you're a parent, you sacrifice your time and your energy and your wants and stuff for your child or children. Sometimes we do things because for our spouses, our significant others or whatnot. And um, yeah, and we're always doing things for charity, giving things away. And I would like to encourage you to take a little bit of time and do something for yourself. Whether that's knit yourself something or crochet yourself, make yourself something, or simply cooking for dinner tonight what you want to have and not what, somebody else wants. Something that you want. Or having a popsicle. Something, just something. That's my prescription for the week. So, I think that's about it. It's about 50 something minutes already. So I hope you all have a wonderful week. I'll probably see you again in 2 weeks. Um, I should get back on a more regular schedule now that I am going to be working and things are going better for me and I have my knitting mojo back and all of that fun stuff. So anyway, remember, take things one stitch at a time, right? One of you reminded me of that here recently, one stitch at a time. And just keep at it. Have a good week and goodbye. And from Diamond and Billy Bob too. Anyway, bye.